There are shows with psychics.
And there are shows with doctors.
But there's no show like The Psychic and the Doc.
Your practical paranormal power unleashed.
This show synthesizes the talents of world-class medium Mark Anthony, the psychic lawyer, psychic explorer,
and street smart spiritualist, behavioral psychologist, Dr. Pat Baccili. All subjects are on the table and no topic is taboo. Inspiration, insight,
action, and fun as Mark Anthony connects callers with loved ones in spirit.
In tandem with Dr. Pat's fresh, no-nonsense, street-smart, intuitive insights. And she is hilarious.
Extraordinary problems
require extraordinary solutions, which may come from this side
or the other side. This is The Psychic
and the Doc, and it starts now. Everyone, to The Psychic and the Doc here on the Transformation Network. I'm Mark Anthony, JD, Psychic Explorer, with my extraordinary and one-of-a-kind co-host, Dr. Pat Baccili, who is the founder of the Transformation Network, host of the long-running, multiple award-winning The Dr. Pat Show. And we have a very special show tonight. The theme of this show is called Ask the Soul Doctor. And the thing is, that's because we actually have the Soul Doctor, Dr. Mark Pitstick, as our very special guest. If I may, Dr. Pat, let me talk a little bit about.
Please do.
Yeah, Dr. Pitstick. Mark Pitstick, MADC, has decades of experience helping people in hospitals, pastoral counseling settings, mental health centers, and holistic healthcare centers. And the thing is, he has such a diverse background in education, which encompasses medicine, graduate theology, and pastoral counseling studies. And this also includes his master's degree in clinical psychology and a doctorate degree in chiropractic healthcare. Dr. Pitstick wrote Soul Proof, Radiant Wellness, and the 11 Questions. Those are his books, and he can talk about those and share wisdom from those with all of you. He also co-authored Greater Reality Living with the world-renowned Dr. Gary Schwartz, who's a dear friend and colleague of all of us. Mark produced the Soul Proof documentary film, and he created 9 audio products that use hypnosis, breathwork, and guided imagery to enhance healing and transformation. But the thing is, that's just the tip of the iceberg of the healing and positive work that he does. Dr. Pitstick directs the Soul Phone Foundation and Greater Reality Living outreaches, which may be the most powerful and practical ways to help transform many lives in our world. Welcome to The Psychic and the Doc, Dr. Mark Pitstick.
Great to connect with you.
It's an honor.
I love saying that. Don't you love saying that? I say that all the time. It's an honor.
It is.
You are so heart-centered. And what I mean by that is, I don't think the heart is human. I'm just going to put that out there before the beginning of the show. And what I mean by that is, I think as human beings, we have been given so many specialties. But the one thing I think, right, Mark, is that right, Mark?
Mark and Mark.
I'm not doing Eminem. I could try that, but Jessica's probably going to have to delete that. But I am really struck right now by how many pop culture isms are talking about things that they have not talked about before, right? And what I mean by that is what we're talking about today. Soul Proof.
Yeah.
I'm just really happily stunned. I don't know if I'm spending too much time in pop culture things, Mark and Mark, but I just see this new awakening. Am I off base with this, guys, or what?
Well, what do you think, Dr. Pitstick?
Well, my take is that, there's always two sides of coins, and there's so much divisiveness and suffering and despair right now that it opens an opportunity for healing, for searching more deeply to find good answers to those existential questions we all eventually ask. Mark Anthony and I are very involved with this group, helping parents heal.
Oh,
And one of their mottos is when a child passes on or any kind of adversity strikes, it can make you better or bitter. It's a choice. And so I think the celebrities and others, so many people are awakening because they go, there has to be more. There has to be a sense behind all this.
One of the terms that you and Dr. Schwartz utilize in your work is PMP, post material person. And I love that term. Can you describe, Mark, for our audience, what is meant by post material person?
Sure, we designed that term because it most efficiently and concisely describes people who used to live on Earth and have passed on. We were aware that the previous terms, soul and spirit, weren't adequate because it kind of sounded like Casper the Friendly Ghost, gauzy, ethereal, insubstantial. And in fact, with Dr. Schwartz's experiments at the University of Arizona has proven that they have density or can have, depending on who's observing what their intentions are. They can make movement, they can have physical form, they can utter, they can vocalize, etc. So we, after all kinds of searching, this when we wrote our book, Greater Reality Living, uh, it we summarized that people who have passed on are not so dissimilar from those of us on Earth, but they're not obstructed by the human brain, which limits our perceptions so much. And so that everything about them continues to exist, except their earthly body, their memories and preferences and sense of humor and love and so on. So we considered post-material person, and that also honors centuries-old philosophical terms, materialist, only thing that exists is what you can see, and then post-materialists who believe there is more than that.
Beautiful. Dr. Pat, what's your take on that particular term?
I love terms. You know that, Mark. I mean, I'm the
I
one that
do.
created crust busting and unstuckable, and the only normal term I think I created was a transformation network. Um, any way that we can honor what people's experiences are, and that term is beautifully done. Any way we can do that, to me, that's just pure perfection. And I think that's what we're talking about. I mean, Dr. Pitstick, one of the things that I'm always struck by every time I read your material or I look something is how connected you are. And Mark, you too, Mark Anthony, you too. You have a sense with the audience, and we got callers waiting, because what both of you do so beautifully is you take something, one, that's very scary for people, two, that they wish and hope for, and three, that they need help understanding sometimes their own reality of what they feel and sense. And what you're doing is you're bringing the conversation not just to the work you do for those that have passed. And by the way, thank you both for the work that you do for healing for those. I cannot thank you enough. If I'd have had you or my family had you and my mom committed suicide when I was younger, it would be different for the family. But you're here now. That term to me, it represents a progression of what we need to do. And I'm not the one in this field to help with that. All I can say is thank you for doing it.
But, Dr. Pat, and hold on, Mark, because I'm going to bring you into this. If you didn't go through that when you were a child, it would not have put you on this path now.
That's
And
true.
and so now over to you, Dr. Pitstick. What's your take on all of this?
Yeah, well, our language shapes what we can see, what we believe, what is real. And so having understandable terms, and we encourage people to adopt the acronym PMP, post-material person, just like NDEs, near-death experiences, and others, so that soon it becomes part of the human lexicon instead of all these crazy terms, because you understand there are many people who don't believe there's anything, or if they do, well, can't even get into that, all the bizarre beliefs about the afterlife, but it's actually pretty simple.
Yeah. Dr. Pitstick, I want to ask you a question because I've been getting this question a lot, especially now that I'm back in New Jersey. but I went back to my high school reunion and people just looked at me like I was from another planet. First of all, Gwen looked at me from my high school and she said, girl, she's an African American woman. She said, girlfriend, we all thought you were dead. We found you out in that crazy state, Seattle. I was in Washington. And when'd you get all spiritual? And I think I want to ask you that question, Dr. Pitstick. And the reason I ask is usually there's something in a person's life, right?
Well, for me, I came in that way. When I was 6, my parents were showing me a beautiful sunset, and I told them it reminded me of God. And we were Lutherans, so it was always God the Father, this and that. And they only told me that years later when I was in theology school. So my reconstruction is that I never totally forgot the other side, the really real place, our real home. And so that stuck with me. And so even as a
Wow.
child, I found myself going into meditative states easily, loving nature,
Mm.
adopting yoga positions when I didn't even know what they were, learning yoga and meditation, but when I was 19. But the real thing for me was working in hospitals and being around
Wow.
almost every shift, one or more people who passed, adults and kids. And it just brought me to my existential knees and forced me to search for meaningful answers. And that's been, Lord, almost 54 years ago. And so, yeah, I've found a lot of good answers.
Wow.
And it's all great news for people. People can just relax, let go of fear,
Yeah.
and know that this earthly experience is a beautiful part of eternity.
Mm.
Wow. See, everyone, you got to ask the soul doctor. So call in at 1-800-930-2819. We are taking your calls. Um, Mark, when you wrote the book Greater Reality Living with Dr. Gary Schwartz, this Greater Reality Living is much more than a book, isn't it?
Well, we started off that way. We realized quickly, well, let's back up. Dr. Gary Schwartz, former Harvard and Yale professor, now retired University of Arizona professor, a genius. He had 2 near-death experiences, and he has proven now scientifically that life continues after bodily death. He just finished submitting journal papers, scientific journal papers. I wrote a layperson version of that. He's finishing the second draft of his book, the soul phone experiments. So all that will come out later this year. So people can also relax and know that there's no longer any question. I mean, we had a lot of clinical evidence before, like near-death experiences and shared crossings and so on. And we had a lot of experiential evidence, like people who have afterlife contacts and sense loved ones and get signs. But now we have the scientific evidence, which is the triad. So yes, we started off, we wanted to create a book that helped people integrate this great news into their daily living. But then over the last about 2 years, it started coming to me, and I described this in article number 119 at soulproof.com, what we call greater reality helping. And it had to do with helping parents heal. And I saw visions of, I mean, I actually saw thousands of kids in the air and all kinds of magical things happening. Elizabeth Boyson, president of Helping Parents Heal, told me, oh my God, now this makes sense. I said, what? And she said, when her son Morgan passed, right after he started telepathically communicating to her, Mom, working with us kids is going to help save the world. And she said, I didn't understand. I didn't get the vision. And now what we're working on uh, takes that into consideration. So Mark's referring to the Greater Reality Healing, Living, and Helping program, and that's a top tab at soulproof.com. So yeah, we planted the seed, and now it's getting bigger and bigger as people understand the nature of reality, how life is really set up, all the good news that's involved with that, and then how they can live that makes sense for them.
Beautiful. That is really amazing. Oh, Dr. Pat, I think you're muted.
I was rereading the article, scientific evidence um, that bodily death is not the end of life. And what I was struck by is I'm always in awe on how I read things on a day that I actually need to hear the message that I need to hear on that day. And what I loved about this was the message in the message. And let me paraphrase, and please correct me if I have misinterpreted what you're saying. But when I read these and I read the evidence and this in the way you outlined them, you were talking to us about how we could live this life, how we could live this life, adopt a worldview, experience shorter and lighten grieving. And I just hung on to that for a minute. But this message is so powerful in both understanding what you both do and what you talk about, shall I call it, right? PMP, but how to also live now. And I find that so critical for this day and age. I really do.
Yeah, we're so lucky to be alive in this time now. I was talking with my dad before he passed. He grew up Catholic. I said, "What was that like, Dad?" Because back then the masses were all in Latin. He
I,
said, "Well, we didn't understand anything they said, but we hoped it was good news."
that's
which,
exactly
which,
right.
which I think is hilarious. Well, now we have all this evidence that, proves. And the other big thing for people to realize is up until now, humanity has largely relied upon archaic religious teachings. Now, some of them were accurate, but some were just plain wrong, and they've been changed. And that's one reason I went to theology school, and there were certainly vested interests involved and fear-based teaching. So humanity's been kind of like, oh my God, what's going on? And now that's why I say we can relax, we can believe, we can remember who we are, why we're here, who walks beside us, and share our greatest gifts. And you know what? The world coming together is just that simple. As more and more people share their talents that they came in with, guess what? Our world comes together.
Yeah.
That's a very important point, and certainly, we're all showing complete respect for all the belief systems in the world, but many of them are anchored in the Iron Age and an Iron Age understanding of things. And there's this mindset that the divine only made contact with people 2,000 years ago, and then the book was closed. And that's not the case. And the work that Dr. Pat and that I do and that you do, Dr. Pitstick, is to let people know that we all have that connection with the divine. We're all interconnected. God, the divine power, the deity, whatever label you want to place on that, connects with all of us all the time. So the book did not close 2,000 years ago. And the fear-based teachings, when you look at the great spiritual teachers, as I know both of you have, they didn't teach fear. How many times in the Gospels does Jesus say, fear not? Buddha does the same thing. The Hindu sages do the same thing. Fear is something that is used and manipulated by human beings to further their own political or ego-driven agendas. And that's one of the things that I really admire about your work, Dr. Pitstick, is let's get away from the fear and let's get to the most important part, which is love.
Yeah, one of the most common statements by near-death experiencers when they come back, especially when they have a profound experience, is, we each are one with the one and part of source. And of course, that's what Jesus said. You are one with the Father, just as I am. So yeah, let's live accordingly. Let's turn this beautiful planet into a heavenly place as it can be, and let's enjoy the experiences. Joseph Campbell is one of my most precious teachers.
Yeah.
And he made such a good point of reminding us that we're brave souls who came here to have adventures. He said that's one of the reasons why humans like adventure books and movies and play. They remind us about what we're really doing.
Well, I think your point about living your life right is you got to look at life as an adventure. And, an adventure doesn't mean we always have to go rock climbing or tromping through, steamy jungles and things. If you look at, what did Albert Einstein say? You can look at everything as if it's a miracle. Every day is an opportunity and a possibility. And it looks to me, and that's what I really enjoy working with Dr. Pat, because when I first met Dr. Pat was on her show, The Dr. Pat Show, and I was really impressed how she was helping people understand that you're a unique individual. Each experience you have is unique. It's an adventure, and you need to cherish that. And that's the work that you do too, Dr. Pitstick, is helping people understand that we really shouldn't just take life for granted or say, oh, I'm bored or my life is mundane. Every day that we're
Yeah.
alive is an opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and
You
I
know,
would say, go ahead.
you're going to experience our callers tonight.
I would just like to add to that
Sure.
people can visit soulproof.com and read article number 21, which is identify and fulfill your highest purposes. And then they can use one of the audio programs, which is under shop, where we use deep relaxation / light hypnosis, guided imagery to turn down the brain and get in touch with why are you here? What are your greatest missions and how can you start fulfilling those at least part-time? And that creates so much fulfillment and peace.
Yeah. I love that you did this on your website. You make this available, people, because I've gone through and I've written my list, and I tend to leave things on at night and I like to listen at night. One of the things I did want to ask you about is, and what I was saying is, before I started to do this show with Mark, I do believe a part of me or my belief was dwindling. I don't know. I don't have a better word. And I started to do this show. And what I heard or what I felt or experienced happened through Mark communicating with our listeners. It took every bit of doubt away from me and helped me honor my own experiences. And I did have an experience in Catholic boarding school, and I got expelled for it because Jesus did talk to me and I was able to prove it. But the dogma and the shame, I mean, I was 6 years old and my gosh. But now what you're doing is opening up the door wider for more people to step through and not get past the place I was at and spiral downward, because losing hope, I think, is one of the most devastating things
Yes.
that we can experience right now in the world.
Yeah, and you've mentioned twice, Pat, about feeling, judged and feeling weird, and that's a commonality for more evolved, more advanced souls. That's just the price of the ticket, and that's why it's so important to have kindred spirits to expand our tribe. And I discuss that in article number 66, relationships for more evolved people. Because I understand, I've worked with tens of thousands of people over the years. I understand how difficult it can be to be on Earth. And especially if you are a more evolved soul, you feel alone. You feel like a stranger in a strange land. So be sure to see that article number 66. It discusses places where more evolved souls frequent, so you can build those relationships and not feel so alone.
Yeah. Linda, who's probably listening to this, are one of our producers, and Jessica, we both worked for AT&T for 25 years. And I got to be an executive, but I also got to study with the most incredible Arno Penzias. And at the end of it, as an executive, every performance review for the past 4 years before I left said, she is amazing, but we think she's on another planet. I'm not kidding. Different bosses said that. And back then, I used to think that is an insult. Now I'm ready to do a T-shirt with it and wear it.
It's a compliment. Yeah. Alan Watts said you have to lose your mind to come to your senses. So, yeah, I take it as a badge of honor if somebody says I'm weird.
Yeah, I can relate. I mean, I've been considered weird my whole life. I was a weird kid that saw spirits. In college, I was weird because, I mean, I was studying my mainstream degree, but also studying theology. And people are like, why are you wasting time studying Buddhism and Hinduism? And, it's like I never saw it as wasting time. And then in the practice of law, a lot of people, after I left it, said they were scared of me because I knew things about them and about jurors and witnesses that there was no way I should have known. And the thing is, I like what Dr. Seuss said. It's like, why fit in when you were born to stand out? And that's not just about me or Dr. Pitstick or Dr. Pat. That's for everybody listening. If you're different, that's not bad. That's God's gift to all of us is individuality. And that's what makes people special. Why would we all want to be the same?
I love that saying by Dr. Seuss. I've not heard that before. Another resource for those viewing is article number 56, and it's entitled, "Are You the, quote, weird one?
Weird one.
I
read
weird
that.
one in your family?" And talks about how to go with that.
Yeah. I love this conversation. We're going to take a short break in a minute. When we come back, there's so many things that we could talk with you about. I mean, so many, but I really want our audience to really have a conversation with you as well. And somebody asked me a question the other day, because they know the kind of movies I watch. They know we've talked about it. But they said to me, what's your most recent favorite reincarnation movie?
Mm.
And I said, okay, I got it. It's not a movie. It's a series. It's called Three Body Problem. It's a Netflix series. And they said, that's not about that. And I said, wait a minute. Do you remember the scene where this one society culture dehydrates their people to save them, and then they come back when there's water? On that note, I'm going to take a short break. And if you haven't seen Three Body Problem, you'll have to go watch it and get amazed about how a reality that many people don't understand in their own lives can relate to in a series that's all about what we're talking about today. Let's take a short break if we could. When we come back, we're going to have lots of information about both Mark and Mark. Please go look at the articles. They're right on the website, and it's soulproof.com. How about a break, Mark and Mark? What do you think?
That sounds great. We'll see everybody in just a minute. I'm Mark Anthony, author of The Afterlife Frequency. But don't expect a dry treatise. This book educates, entertains, and reads like a juicy novel.
Joining us today is psychic lawyer Mark Anthony. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I don't think there's another person on the planet anywhere who shares this guy's resume.
He's been on Coast to Coast, the radio show with me for years. He's a psychic lawyer, but he's the real deal.
This book also provides hope in coping with grief, crime, murder, PTSD, and survivor's guilt. The Afterlife Frequency teaches you my 4-step raft technique. Recognize spirit contact, accept it as real, feel it without fear, and trust the message.
Luvology is where your body remembers what your soul never forgot. I work with men and women who are often at the edge of midlife, who are done with surface-level living. People who've built the life but still feel numb, who ache for something deeper, more presence, more truth, more touch. We work with what's been silenced: desire, shame, grief, raw pleasure, and the truths your body has been whispering for years. Using ancient practices, modern science, and yummy, delicious sex tools that awaken rather than perform, we reclaim what it means to feel deeply and live turned on from the inside out. This isn't about fixing. This is about remembering. This is conscious hedonism, rooted, real, and alive. If your body's been asking for more, you are in the right place. This is Luvology. Want to go there? Book a compatibility call at gwenhamcarsley.com. Let's begin.
Hi, I'm Michelle, and I want to welcome you to the Real Healing Institute. This is your invitation to my spiritual circles, where your energy is read, your life receives channeled clarity, and your soul is mirrored by others walking this path with you. Come and be seen, guided, and activated. These spiritual circles are sacred containers, personal energy readings, channeled guidance for your life, and a conscious community where insights flow and souls remember who they are. Visit therealhealinginstitute.com to sign up.
If you've been journeying with Shakti Durga on the Mystery School podcast, you're invited to something very special this July 2026. Shakti Durga invites you to Carrying the Sacred Fire retreat in the Himalayan foothills of India. This retreat is a journey into illumination, refinement, and embodiment through fire ceremony, meditation, and sacred transmission. If you feel the call, visit shantimission.org to learn more and reserve your place.
Welcome back to The Psychic and the Doc. We are here with our special guest, Dr. Mark Pitstick, and the title of this show is Ask the Soul Doctor, and he is the Soul Doctor. Dr. Pitstick has done extensive research and work with afterlife studies and science, and we are going to be taking your calls in just a minute. I will be in Denver between June 18th through the 21st at the Society for Scientific Exploration, and I invite everybody to sign up for my newsletter. Kindly visit afterlifefrequency.com. Sign up for my newsletter at afterlifefrequency.com. It'll keep you up to date on everything I'm doing, what's happening. Dr. Pitstick, tell people just briefly what you're doing and how they can get hold of you, please.
Briefly. I'm involved in so many things, but the biggest is because I started a program that can literally help everyone, no matter what their challenge or imbalance, physically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually, just because I've been doing this for so many years. I mean, I'm really old. I could keel over in the middle of the show. You never know. And so I've created all these resources, 8 books, 145 articles, 10 audio programs, documentary film, etc. It's all free at soulproof.com. So I encourage people to check out the top tab that says Greater Reality Program, because I literally created, for example, the healing component, 18 30-minute videos, all free to help people no matter what their various challenges that seem like losses are. Because we talked before about people often have to go through some kind of adversity before they are willing to dig down deeper. And so then when people heal, then the stage is set for them doing what they came here to do. And so, visit Greater Reality Program. And that's the apex of everything else I'm doing.
Well, the thing about being on this show, even if, God forbid, you keel over, we probably could still conduct the interview. So, we are now dealing with Dr. PMP.
Oh, that was good, Mark.
Yeah.
Sorry,
it's like the weird
Jessica,
world that we exist in.
Jessica, would you like to bring on our first caller?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to Sarah. We're going to bring back Sarah because we just finished with her in last week. Sarah from Italy. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Sarah. Welcome back.
Thank you. Hi, Dr. Pitstick, Dr. Pat, and Mark. How are you?
Great. How can we help you tonight?
Well, I just wanted to say 2 quick things and see if anyone else was coming through for me since Dr. Pat, you said to call back. I just wanted to say, Dr. Pat, thank you for your suggesting that I go out and sing 3 songs on a corner here in Rome. It did the trick, and I've gotten my groove back, and that was really important for me. So thank you. And Mark, I wanted to say, you said that I would be singing kind of with the voice of the angels. And I wanted to tell you that my old stage name used to be Sarah Angeline. And so I just wanted to confirm that. That was right on when you said that.
Well, cool. Well, Sarah, I'm picking up on a female energy connected with you, and she may have come through before because there's a familiar presence. And by familiar, I mean in a very positive sense. Now, this woman, she was elderly when she passed, and I'm getting a much denser physical structure. So she without a doubt had some extra pounds on her, and I'm being diplomatic. And she says, "Oh, don't worry about it." But what I'm getting from her is tremendous discomfort in her bladder region. So this woman was having a lot of problems, bladder, urinary tract, her reproductive areas prior to passing, also getting a sensitivity in her breasts. And the burning sensations that I'm getting could be a cancerous condition, both in breasts, ovaries, and in the bladder. Let me see. Yeah, this poor lady was going through a tremendous amount of suffering prior to passing. I'm also feeling this seeping into her kidneys now. And what I do get about her, Sarah, is she was a woman of great faith, because even though she knew that her physical life was diminishing, she had absolute faith that she was going to continue on, continue on. Do you recognize this person?
I feel like that might be someone that I have not met, but that is definitely connected to me and my family that has passed. I'm not quite sure.
Well, it doesn't have to be a family member. This could also be a friend as well. So I want you to contemplate that. Let's get the message from her for you. All right, she showed me lots and lots and lots of Christmas presents and a Christmas tree. So there may be I realize most people like the holidays, but this could indicate some type of connection between you and her with Christmas time. But I also get that there's something coming for you in the positive sense this next December. And it's not specifically on Christmas. She's zeroing in on 12/21, 12/21, 12/21, which is the winter solstice or very close to it, unless the numbers 12 and 21 have any significance to you in any way.
Those numbers, not right now. So,
All right. Any significant births, deaths, anniversaries, or events connected to you or someone close to you here on planet Earth or in spirit within December?
I'm not thinking out my birthday. I love Christmas. I may be understanding who this could be, but
don't worry. All right, Sarah, don't strain or struggle on who this can be. Focus instead on the month of December. Births, deaths, anniversaries, or events connected to you with someone here on planet Earth or in spirit within December. If that doesn't resonate with you, then what the spirit is transmitting to me is things are going to be turning around for you in a very big way by or during this coming December. Okay, so I'm going to leave that with you. Let's go first to Dr. Pat. What's your take on this? And Dr. Pat, I'm getting presents.
Yeah, I got it.
Around a Christmas tree.
Totally. And then we're going to go to Dr. Mark. Sarah, here's what I want to say. How long are you going to be in Italy?
Oh, I live here.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Foreseeable future.
Okay, so do you know what one of the greatest things that, like my family's from Italy too. So I'm just going to drop this on you and consider this a burden or a gift. Italy, and especially where you are, is known for their festivities. You are to participate either in a choir or an event to sing in Italy, in Italian. And the song that I'm going to invite you to think about is Ave Maria. So you better start practicing now.
Let's do it.
I'm not kidding. I don't know why I'm telling you that, but it's about as weird as when I told you to go stand on a corner and sing 3 songs. So I want you to hold that, because I do think Mark is on it. I think there's somebody from your past that has influenced you to have the angelic voice you have. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And even though it may not come up for you, I really want you to hold that, because you've been on the show before, and I know you're going to come back, and I know you got the answer. But I'd love to hear Dr. Pitstick on this too.
Well, I don't have psychic or clear abilities, at least consistently. But what I'd like to say is I am always so impressed by the courage and love it takes, whether it's from a medium or a psychic, to put it out there in your sense. I'm around a lot of evidential mediums since I've been working with Dr. Schwartz on the Soul Phone Project. And you know that he wrote a book around the turn of the century called The Afterlife Experiments, where he scientifically proved that at least some mediums had rock star abilities, and that was under double and triple blinded conditions. And so I'm always fascinated to watch mediums and psychics because especially I notice they'll look up one way or the other as they're picking up that information. The other thing is the gaze. I notice my fiance has good mediumistic abilities, and I know when she's seeing into the other world because she's looking through me, or she has a different kind of look. And I noticed in both of you, so I just say, I'm really inspired, and super job.
Wow.
You know, Sarah, let me chime in again. Are you recording any albums?
I'm working on songs to record an album, but I'm not recording it right now.
How about doing Christmas music? And I'm not being funny or facetious. Christmas presents, Christmas music, and it's going to need your take on it. It's going to need your take on it, because that may be what's going to turn things around for you. You know, and I think that's what I'm getting. And this woman is somehow connected to you through your mother's side of the family, and she's 2 generations up. So she could be on the great grandmother level. Is there issues with feet and arches, like the arches in the feet in any side of your family? And that could include you too, because I'm getting this whole thing about collapsed arches. Here's the thing, Sarah, don't strain and struggle. Let me leave that with you. If it resonates with you, call us back next week. Okay.
Yeah. And Sarah, I want to leave you with this. You know what Mark just said? I want you to look for collapsed arches where you live. You understand? You understand Italy, collapsed arches, right? Okay. And then I want to tell you how you got off easy tonight. And this is what I want to say. You know what I could have asked you to do? I could have asked you to go stand on the corner and sing the diva dance from The Fifth Element. And if you don't know that opera, Google it. Thank you, Sarah. We want to hear back from you. Woohoo!
Thank
Jessica.
you.
Jessica, who do we have?
Let's go to Tim from Texas next. Tim, welcome to the show.
Hi, Tim. How are you?
Hello, doing great. Thank you very much for taking my call today.
I know. You got the best barbecue down here, don't you?
Yes, awfully proud of the barbecue. Had some a couple of weeks ago. We had a barbecue fest in Houston. So multiple places, multiple awesome events. So definitely stop by Houston for that.
You know what? I will. Love it. I love Houston. I always drop in there to see Pastor Joel whenever I'm down there. So there we go. As I'm saying, I could visit Pastor Joel, or then I could study with Sadhguru. That's what the world's about. How can we help you tonight?
Yes, I had a question. Have had several family members pass, but my emotions and stuff like that kind of go up and down as I think about them and so forth. But over the past few months, we had several lights in our office furniture, like those lights that you can tap on, tap off by touching the hinge or something like that. Those lights just randomly come on. So I was curious if that is spirits trying to say, communicate to us, and if so, any idea who the spirits are?
Definitely, Tim. When you start seeing, when you say lights come on and come up, does it look like a ball of light, like an orb?
The light actually illuminates like our office furniture. Essentially, they have kind of like little recessed LED lights and stuff like that. So those lights will appear on. I mean, there's several different pieces of furniture that have them. Sometimes it's just one light, sometimes it's multiple lights.
Oh, okay.
But they're
so
all controlled individually.
These are lights that are already there that are coming on by themselves. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Yeah. My electromagnetic soul theory, the EMS. Spirits are pure electromagnetic energy. I mean, we all are. Okay. And I'll spare the physics discussion on that. But spirits are very capable of affecting and influencing electromagnetic fields. In other words, they can turn on lights. They can cause all types of anomalies with electrical devices. So that is a definite. Is there a Joey or a Jerry? A Joey or a Jerry? It's some type of male J name with that Y sound. Joey or Jerry. It could be a Jimmy, but I'm getting more of a Joey or a Jerry. And what I'm getting, that could be Joey, Jerry, but the spirit there's three different spirits that are well, there's more than that, but there's three main spirits that are affecting with these electrical fields. But the one that I'm seeing very prominently is a younger male. He looks like he could have been in his late teens, possibly early 20s. And with his passing, I get very quick. So whatever happened to him came on very, very suddenly. It was an abrupt and unexpected passing. And this poor young man, I get a crushing sensation. Now, this could be trauma, but sometimes when I get this impact sensation, that could also just be an abrupt, unexpected passing. Maybe it was an illness that hit him really quickly, but I'm just getting this massive impact. Now, Joey and Jerry could be a name associated with him, or that could be another spirit, because we got a number of spirits communicating. Anything there resonating with you?
Yes, definitely so.
In what way?
My father passed. My father passed when in his mid-30s from a heart attack.
Okay.
And but the name, but that's not his name.
No, it could be another spirit.
Right, definitely. So Jerry is is my wife's grandfather.
Jerry is your wife's grandfather. Okay, see, we got a bunch of folks here. Okay, so your dad passed when he was a relatively young man. Did he have a youthful appearance? Like he looked kind of younger than he was?
Yes, actually he did.
Okay, and he keeps flipping his ears. So I don't know if there was something with his ears or hearing, or there could be something going on with you, with your ears or hearing, but he's definitely focusing on the ears. Now, this could be a physical attribute, or this could indicate more than just seeing lights coming on. Could be maybe you are hearing something, some type of auditory message. So the issue that this, or the message this spirit is transmitting, ears and something with ears, physical ears, or hearing in any way. And no matter how bizarre it is, go with it.
Interesting. Okay.
All right. Is anything resonating with you?
Interesting that my wife is actually touching her ear fairly often here lately.
Okay, and that's out of the ordinary?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So she may be receiving auditory messages, and if she's getting a thought popping in her head, have her write it down. No, once again, no matter how bizarre it is. Now, what's with you and strawberries? Strawberries. Now, when I get strawberries, that can mean you love them, hate them, something about, strawberries. But strawberries are also one of my triggers for the month of February. Why? Because I associate chocolate-covered strawberries with Valentine's Day. So that's how I get how I equate February with strawberries. This may not be with that spirit. This could be a birth, death, anniversary, or event connected to you or someone else close to you, planet Earth or in spirit, Tim, within February.
Trying to think. Strawberries, definitely like them. So February, I'm trying to correlate.
Your interpretation's always more important than mine. Let's go with strawberries. Other than, you like strawberries, what out of the ordinary was strawberries?
So strawberries, I actually tried growing them when I was a kid.
There we go.
Like on the side of our house and stuff like that, just to try things out. But that's kind of, going back to my childhood.
Well, and that's okay, because who was the spirit initially communicating as your dad, right?
Right.
That's a yes. And bringing up strawberries, something you did as a child when he was part of your life. Do you see how this works? So we definitely got your dad here, and he's holding up his right hand. Now, 90% of the people in the world are right-handed, but I'm also getting this like hairline fracture or injury just below the palm and in the wrist. So that could be something with him, or this could be something with you or someone close to you having a problem with their right hand or right wrist. Anything there makes sense to you in any way?
I don't have any pains or problems with my wrists, neither does my wife, but I've had some family members that have passed that have lost a finger.
Okay. All right. So that's a possibility. All right. Let me see if I can get a final message before we go to Dr. Pat. And insulin, insulin, insulin. All right. Who's the diabetic of significance connected to you or somebody in spirit? Because I'm getting insulin, insulin, insulin.
My wife is pre-diabetic, but I am fine in that regard.
Okay. So we may be getting somebody who's connecting to us who is associated with your spouse, because insulin, insulin, insulin. And if she's pre-diabetic, that would mean she's type 2 diabetic, which doesn't mean she'll have to be taking insulin, but insulin is always a factor there. Let's see what else there. Has she just recently radically changed her diet? Or is she thinking about, here's the message, radically change diet. All right, how does that make sense?
Yeah, she's or has started taking a medication to help control her sugar, her blood sugar.
Right, but it's going to be more than that. Go on.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Her dad.
That her dad passed away last year. So she, there may be trying to communicate, or he may be trying to communicate with her, I believe.
Right, but
on that topic.
Okay, so I know she's taking medication, but when I hear radically change your diet, and of course she has to talk to her doctor about this, but I think that medication for diabetes isn't everything. It has to be in conjunction with diet and exercise, and that's what the message is. So I'll leave that with you. Dr.
I only
Pat,
have
what's
one
your
thing to
take?
say because I really like to hear what Dr. Pitstick has to say. Here's what I think's going on, and this is not a psychic reading or anything. I think you're worried about your wife, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. I know that didn't come through, but that's the sense I get. You're really worried about your wife. And sometimes when Mark does this, these are messages that go beyond simple things. And in this particular case, you're looking for some way to be okay with all this, right? And I think the messages that you're getting are around that. But I understand why you would worry, because you love your wife. But again, when the show is over, or if you go back, listen to these a little differently from an emotional place and not from a mental place and see what you get. Dr. Pitstick.
Gotcha.
4 quick things. First of all, yes, we know from the Soul Phone Project that post-material persons can manipulate electronic devices. That's how we work on the soul switch. What's the best way for them to signal in near real time? So those are very, very common. Second thing is, Tim, you can do just something simple when those happen. Just get centered for a moment and telepathically ask, is someone trying to send me a message? Excuse me, and then listen for the answer. Sometimes it arrives over the third eye, sometimes over the heart chakra. And then say, what is the message that you're sending? And again, and it's one of those, the more you do it, the better you get at it. The next thing I would say is if you want to expand that, you can read article number 9 at soulproof.com called Visiting with Your, quote, departed loved ones now. And then under audio program, use the afterlife contact technique. And thousands of people have used it to develop meaningful interactions with their post-material loved ones. And finally, to Mark's point about diet, my book, and again, that's under shop, again, all this is free, called Radiant Wellness, discusses especially the chapters for diet and natural health care. While I was practicing, I and my associates had many type 2 diabetes people. I mean, we're talking 600 glucose in the morning, 3 or 4 meds, and within 3 to 6 months, they're off all meds and they're running 110, 120 in the morning. So there are ways to heal the pancreas. She doesn't have to live with that or take medications which have potential side effects.
Great. Thank you very much for the info.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for calling in. Mark, what a great show. Dr. Pitstick, thank you so much for today. Dr. Pitstick, I'd like to ask you for your personal message, what you'd like to leave everyone with today.
It is that it's so important to use centering practices, and I discuss this in article number 77. You know the old saying, be still and know I am God. Yeah. And so that's really, don't listen to your brain so much. Don't let it run the show. There's a Hindu saying, the brain is a wonderful slave, but a horrible master. And so make sure you quiet your brain, whether it's walking in nature or playing with pets or meditation. And then that's when you'll get in touch with your higher self, your real self, your eternal consciousness that reminds you it's okay. You couldn't die if you try. You don't lose loved ones. You're one with God. There's a reason you're here right now. So make that happen. Enjoy a wonderful life. And if you have personal questions, email me, mark@soulproof.com. As long as my schedule allows, I will send you quick, information-laden answers to handle your biggest questions and your toughest challenges. Again, mark@soulproof.com. So God bless and let it shine.
Yeah. Last word, Mark Anthony.
Well, we're going to be back next week. It'll be the Psychic and the Doc. We're here every Thursday, and we're here to help you. This is the ministry that Dr. Pat and I have embarked upon together. And I especially want to thank Dr. Pitstick, because your ministry touches millions of people worldwide. So everyone will be back next Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, all times in between and either side of that. Everyone have a blessed week.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning into the Psychic and the Doc with Mark Anthony and me, Dr. Pat Baccili, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Hey, look, come back next week so we can explore with you more of life's many challenges and learn from fascinating guests. And you know what? Even Mark and me. We'll connect you and discover insights from people in this life and from the afterlife. Extraordinary problems? Yeah, they do. They require extraordinary solutions. But step into the world of possibilities with us on the Psychic and the Doc. That's every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. That's TransformationTalkRadio.com. And don't forget, we're also live face-to-face on Facebook.com, Transformation Talk Radio.